What's going on, everybody? A little off the usual schedule here. Instead of being live on a Wednesday night like we always are, it's Tuesday. There's a good reason for that. Tomorrow is my birthday, so I got a little
happy birthday.
Boy, I appreciate you. Yeah, getting old, man. About to go into a retirement village here very shortly.
The villages, bro.
Yeah, we're in the right place for retirement communities. So how to move around the schedule. It is indeed going to be a Tuesday show, and we'll be back to Sunday morning as always. But appreciate you guys for adjusting your schedules. Brad, you especially. Tuesday night, man, a little bit different than Wednesday. The injury reports are a bit different. Maybe some information that we haven't gotten on a Tuesday that we normally get by Wednesday. But before we talk about that, how we doing here? How you doing with the adjustment?
Man, so I play volleyball league on Tuesday. So, and of course, like I look at the clock when we get done with the game and I was like, I have to get home and showered within 30 minutes. And normally, so our team's pretty good. Normally we don't I don't sweat like that much. So we dominate everyone, but we played against the defending league champs. And so it was a game. So I was covered in sweat, covered in sand. So I was running, bro. I probably still have sand in my hair.
You could have just showed up not showered.
Yeah, right.
Straight off the battlefield like a post-game press conference.
I would have looked rough.
I'm sure some of our viewers would have loved to see that.
They'd be like, yo, someone pause the show so Brad can shower.
Speaking of volleyball, it's actually funny. Do you know what I started watching? I saw it like a couple weeks ago. People tweeting about it. It was really good. Started watching Cocaine Quarterback, the documentary. Okay. It's actually pretty interesting. I've only gone through like 2 or 3 episodes. So I'm not – I don't even think I'm that deep into it yet, but yeah. It's good, man. It's good. Cocaine Quarterback is very good. You'll like it. A lot of action.
I'll check it out.
But Brad, week 7 overall pretty good. I think we've got to talk about our some of our plays here. Sunday night. Sunday night football. We're on the Niners. I like the Niners. I thought it was a letdown spot for Atlanta. Had some parlays that just couldn't come home. I was really, really disappointed. Brad and I had a nice parlay we cooked up Sunday morning, and it turns out like going into the game, the 2 things we needed to happen were McCaffrey 6 catches, which honestly came down to the wire.
That one, yeah.
Where we needed Bijan 119 rush receiving, which, listen, I said at the time it was high, but the way he's been playing and the volume he's been getting, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, and this happened with McCaffrey the week before against Tampa, they stopped giving Bijan the ball. Granted, this was always a neutral game script. It wasn't ever to the point where Atlanta had to abandon the run like they did against Carolina. This was neutral. And even still, Bijan is a factor in the pass game. And they just stopped giving him the ball. The Falcons offense just shut down. It was bizarre. And honestly, Bijan needed 27 more yards, which it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. You can easily get that on one play. But there was some stuff that we didn't have happen. So we lost that one. I had a touchdown parlay that made it through the day. Last leg was Drake London to get in the end zone. Atlanta's offense was awful. And then I got Nico Collins last night for the Texans. But what were your thoughts about that Sunday night game?
Dude, Sunday night. Well, freaking I went to bed at the nighttime game because I was like, I saw the score and all my bets for the Sunday night were for the late game were Kenneth Walker. So I was like, okay, Kenneth Walker is either going to run the ball and I'm going to cash, or it's going to be a stupid beat because I only needed 45 yards. But the that Atlanta game, dude, what was that? Sunday night? Yeah, the Sunday night game. The Atlanta. I was thinking about Monday. The Atlanta game was just the epitome of making East Coast teams go west and play in primetime. It literally always, whenever that happens, whenever you have an East Coast team go west and they play primetime, or a West Coast team go east and they play primetime, the game stinks. It's like so slow, and one team just doesn't get off the bus. It was a hard watch, bro. It was a really hard watch. And like, I also had a bet in there. I had George Kittle props. If you would have told me that George Kittle had a goose egg, I knew it was going to be sketchy. But I didn't think it was because he was going to play 81% of the snaps and not get targets. I was like, when I was listening to what Kyle Shanahan was saying, he was like, he's going to play a full complement of snaps. It's just going to be here and there. I'm thinking he plays 50% of the snaps. Whatever. All I got to do is get 40 yards. All I got to do is get a couple catches. Or knowing Kyle Shanahan, play here and there, that means he gets red zone targets. The dude played a full complement of snaps, man. He played the second most snaps on the team. I was like, no way. When I looked it up, because like it felt like he was always there, but he was always blocking. Then I went up, looked it up, and I was like, this is such BS, bro. That
was gross. Well, you know what's going to happen. You know what this week is? It's National Tight End.
Yep.
National Tight End Day this week. So there's some of you watching. Appreciate you guys staying up late to watch us tonight. I'm sure a handful of you at least know that National Tight End Day is this weekend. You'll probably see a lot of these slips on Twitter when the touchdown props come out. Like we're saying, doing the show on Tuesday versus Wednesday, there's nothing out for the Sunday games or Monday game on Tuesday in terms of props. Very limited, very few places, if any, have it. Even tomorrow, it'll be Wednesdays normally are limited, but there's a little bit more. So a lot of people are going to be on it this week. There's going to be a lot of those tight end touchdown parlays, yards parlays, Kittle. So aside from the fact that it's National Tight End Day, and we know George Kittle's going absolutely nuts because I think he's done it every year, but everybody who bet Kittle thinking he was going to do something against Atlanta, and he put up a fucking goose. Like a flat goose, we know we bet him a week too early, and he's going to go nuclear against Houston.
We knew it
this weekend.
That's
what's going to happen. He is going to go nuts against Houston. It's probably going to be a 2-tutty game for him.
Yep,
70 yards at least. So I'm probably going to do some Kittle props solo, no parlay. I'll probably throw Kittle in a parlay. I'll probably throw like Kittle anytime tutty straight, maybe Kittle 2 tutty straight, Kittle in a parlay straight, Jake Ferguson, Dallas against Denver, Tucker Kraft against the Steelers, Kelsey maybe.
You're going to go, bro, you got to get Gadsden in there too.
Watch Gadsden just completely shit the bed this week.
I know. Well, he also is playing on Thursday too.
That takes the luster out. It's not fun. It's not fun. I mean, maybe we do something with the World Series. The World Series, when does that start? That starts Friday. So maybe you can parlay something on Thursday with the World Series. Tampa completely no-showed. Lions showed up, man. Lions look like a team that wanted to get the taste out of the Kansas City loss out of their mouth. Tampa didn't show up, but there was a lot of bad calls in that game. Yeah, it was like, I'm happy Baker Mayfield called out the officiating too. I'm happy. Like, you're going to take the fine, but you know what? It's got to be said. It was disgusting. I'm not defending Tampa playing well. Baker did not play well. He missed a lot of open receivers, sailing a lot of passes, but there was Tampa only lost that game by 15 despite really being outplayed from start to finish. Yep. But there was about 3 or 4 huge calls that the Lions got that probably changed this game from being like Tampa having the ball last drive going down the field to go for a win.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. But after Morrison got cooked on that first touchdown, he was freaking dynamite. But like, that's what happens to rookies, right? That was his first start of the season, if I remember correctly, and then you get burned, you know?
Yeah. Seattle was free. That was all week. We liked Seattle this week. It was free. Houston's a disaster. But how about Mike McDonald? That's an absolute cuck move if I've ever seen one. And I hate that we can't figure out this Seattle running back situation. I know they don't care about fantasy. They don't care about betting. But, like, 1 week it's Kenny Walker. He looks like the clear bell cow. And then the next week, Kenny Walker doesn't do shit and Zach Charbonnet does something. But then on his birthday, Kenny Walker gets cocked twice from the 1 and the 3 yard line. Like no birthday tutties for Kenny Walker. That's disgusting.
Bro.
I had an interesting hold on. I had an interesting parlay, like some little lotto ticket. It had nothing to do with this because I didn't really care. It wasn't going to hit anyway. Just for like the love of Kenny Walker. He was on the card, but I had a Kenny Walker 80 rush yards, 2 touchdowns, JSN 7 catches, and a tutty. I think I might have had Seattle money line on there too.
Yeah.
Like you cock. That's a cock move. It's my favorite word, by the way, cock. But anyway, we're dilly-dallying too long. Brad, we got week 8 on the horizon here. A lot of teams on bye this week and next week, so the slate's limited. The NFL card looks like a bigger piece of shit this week than it was last week, but we still got to handicap these games. So what are you expecting for this coming week in the NFL?
Man, this is the time where it's put up or shut up for a lot of teams. We've already seen it, right? With the Jets making a change at quarterback. The Bengals did it 2 games ago, went out and got Joe Flacco. You know, the dominoes are starting to fall. Is Tua going to be the starter come Sunday? We saw Quinn Ewers come in for Tua because he was playing so poorly. It's that time. It's make or break. I'm like the Bengals, right? The Bengals can't lose this game. Bengals lose this game, their season's 100% done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is like money time for a lot of these middle of the road teams, or a lot of these teams that are on the wrong side of momentum. Buffalo, right? Buffalo coming off a bye, lose a bad game at Atlanta a couple weeks ago. They're facing a Carolina team that honestly is not playing that bad. They're above 500, believe it or not, at this point in the season. Bryce Young looks like he's going to miss, but honestly, is that a downgrade? Like Andy Dalton coming in for a start? They're getting 7.5 at home. You have Buffalo, who right now is sitting behind New England in the AFC East. Josh Allen's still in the playoff or MVP mix, but he's kind of drawing out of favor. Or you have Baltimore, like, is Lamar going to play? If he does play, they're 1-5 coming off. I think they're coming off a bye week, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, what does he play? Can he come back and they win? You have a team like Philadelphia. What does Philadelphia do, you know, after a big win in Minnesota? You know, there's a lot of questions to be answered. We spent over 13 and a half minutes doing that, so we will not make you wait any longer. Let's get right into it. First game, Vikings at the Chargers. Carson Wentz, the Ginge, the Prince Harry lookalike, will be starting yet again for Minnesota. They're going to the Chargers, who have looked abysmal, almost pushing 5 losses in a row if they didn't luck out with that Miami game, or 4 losses in a row. They got absolutely boat raced against Indy. Brad, that was one of my favorite plays of the week, was it
you
not?
You said it. Plus 2.5, dude.
We said it.
Insane.
We said the wrong team was favored in LA this week. And Indy, after what they've done this year, after what they went into the better LA team and the Rams, should have beat them, put a different perception on them as a whole, come in and they're dogs at the Chargers. Said the wrong team was covered. In fact, was. LA has not looked good. The running game is a disaster. They have one good game from Kamani Vidal. The running game is causing a lot of problems. It's making Justin Herbert have to throw the ball a lot more. Teams are gearing up for the pass rush. The offensive line for the Chargers was already kind of an issue with some of the injuries that they've been dealing with this year. Buddy, their defense has not looked like what it was in the first 3 weeks. This unit as a cohesive organization is not there at the moment. But you know what? Neither is Minnesota. Where are you going?
Dude, I am leaning the Chargers here, but they are in total dysfunction. It's pretty bad, right? But let's let's just think about this for a second. This might be the best situation that the Chargers have had all season in terms of righting the ship and getting things to go correctly. Defensively, this is a really disappointing unit, and luckily for them, they get to play against a quarterback who has a 58 point whatever PFF grade in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz had one good game. Who was that against? They played against Cleveland. Outside of that game, he's been putrid. Last week, he had a PFF grade of 45.9. Pat, and the reason it's not in the like low 40s is because he had a rush grade of 80. He was god awful. Then we flip on the other side of the ball for Minnesota. Their run defense has been terrible. It's been non-existent. This used to be a Minnesota team that we used to be like, wow, they win in the trenches. And it kind of started to unravel altogether. I think Vidal can finally have a good running game. But listen, there's two things that I think about here. I think this game is going to be won through the air, right? I think it's going to be whichever quarterback can get drive sustained and can push the ball down the field. But what scares me about that statement is it is a primetime short week game, right? So I'm not just loving quarterbacks to go out there and throw for 300 yards, right? Justin Herbert threw for 400 yards last week. His line's at 251. If that tells you anything, that it's going to be a little bit lower of a back and forth through the air than we saw last week. But I lean the Chargers here. What about you?
So it's actually funny. We're stressing the last couple of weeks about primetime dogs, primetime dog this, primetime dog that. The Bengals were 5.5 at home on Thursday, won outright. The 49ers, favorite home team Sunday night, win outright. The Lions, 6.5, 6-7, close, point favorites at home Sunday night, win outright. Seattle, 3 to 3.5 point favorite at close, home favorite, win outright and cover. All of them covered. So, listen, like I said, primetime dogs have been howling, but it's still a case by case. I'm not going to sit here and simply say, well, my handicap's based on the primetime dog theory, because there's ebbs and flows to any trend. That's just how it works. I have nothing to bet Minnesota off of. The only scenario where I can see Minnesota on a short week travel to LA is if their front seven creates havoc in the trenches, which it absolutely can. Still need to see what the injury scenario for the Chargers offensive line is. But if it can create havoc, that's where they can neutralize the game. A. B. Can Carson Wentz and Jettas just get in sync? Jordan Addison, throw him in there as well. The Chargers secondary has been honestly pretty good. They are in the top half of the league in terms of allowing the fewest receiving yards to wideouts. Minnesota's top 5 in that department, actually, but you wouldn't know it because Devontae Smith just dog walked them up and down the field on Sunday. So that's the scenario for the Vikings. It's certainly possible, certainly capable of happening. I just don't know if I trust Carson Wentz right now. He hasn't given me any reason to trust him. Ultimately, I think I'm liking the Chargers here, laying the 3. I think if you're looking for a parlay, you sick degenerates, you want to throw the parlay easy, Chargers money line's good. I'm looking at taking LAC now while the 3's out there because I've looked on a few books. Yeah. It's tipping towards 3.5. Then when you start getting 3 and a hook, then I'm a little less confident in laying it with the Chargers because let's put it to you this way. These are 2 talented teams that are bad right now, and they're trending in bad directions. So it's not like a full boat confident play. I'm probably not going to play it because I really have to like something on Thursday night to play it. But at 3 points, I like the Chargers laying 3.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. I did take Vidal 50-plus rushing yards. So right now I have it with a 2-unit play. I'm projecting that this line gets moved to 63.5, which gives me a 13-yard middle, and I'll play the other half on 63.5 under, just for anybody wondering how I plan on playing that.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's move on here. Buffalo off the bye, 7.5 at Carolina, starting Andy Dalton. Whoo! Is this an upgrade for Tedoroa McMills, who could finally have at least something of a quarterback that used to have a star receiver that was able to get him the ball once upon a time in Adriel Jeremiah Green? 7.5 points on the road is a lot, but Buffalo coming off a bye, they've had 2 weeks to reflect on that shitty performance in Atlanta. Like, dude, I mean, listen, let's give it up for Carolina. They're progressing. They're showing up in some of these games where they play well. I mean, they've had some really bad performances. Week 1 in Jacksonville, they got basically lost by 40 in New England. I mean, granted, the loss doesn't look as bad because New England has looked competent this year. They've looked pretty good. But is 7.5 too much here?
Dude, I just keep waiting and waiting and waiting for this Bills team to put something together. But are they just that bad defensively where that all hope is lost, right? Like, just go look at the numbers, and I won't even go with the advanced metrics. I'll just look at PFF before I get to EPA and success rate. This is a Bills team that has a tackling grade of 37.
Yep.
Missed tackles. And when I was watching that Falcons game, it wasn't like they were in with bad gap assignments. Like they were playing like smart football, I guess you would say, right? Like they were in their right assignments. Like they weren't missing assignments. They just weren't tackling. So I went and looked at the PFF grade. And I was like 37. And then I was thinking about the game. Like Bijan had a million missed tackles. Algier had a bunch of missed tackles, broken tackles, excuse me. But dude, it would be lazy of us to say it's just that game. This is an isolated incident. It's not, right? We saw this happen when they played against the Ravens in week 1. They played against the Dolphins. They made the Dolphins offense look good. Then they're there 14.5 point favorites against the Saints. It would happen again. Patriots, we're starting to believe in Drake May. We can forgive them. Then the Falcons. The Bills defense is not good enough to get them over the hump. And then when you blend in what happened to them in the last 2 weeks with their offense, it's really, really scary. This was the offense last year that was top 3 in EPA margin, was top 5 in success rate. I don't know off the top of my head, but if I were to look, I would imagine they're not even top 10. They are not getting players open, and I don't know if they're refusing to run the ball or they're not scheming it up right where they can consistently run the ball. They need a dam to break. Maybe the bye week is what they need, right? Maybe the bye week is what they need. They play against Andy Dalton. They get pressure. They score. They have one of those we are back moments. But I just don't trust them yet, man.
Okay. I completely understand. I'll say this. Buffalo definitely tackling has not been good. But also, it's Bijan Robinson. Bijan's one of the few.
And H.N.
Yeah, but these are one of one. And I'm not saying Rico Dowdle or Hubbard is a slouch, but they're not at that level. But let's also remember something.
Yeah.
For a lot of these bad rushing performances, Ed Oliver's missed a lot of time. That's their dog up the middle. He creates the whole intensity, whole atmosphere, and it changes the way Buffalo is able to play against the run. It doesn't seem significant, but that's what it is significant.
Yeah.
Ed Oliver's presence in the middle, in the trenches, is ultra significant for Buffalo. The secondary is a separate story. Their secondary is bad. It's been bad all year. It's been cooked from day one. That's the reality of it. But I think I'm going to sit here and say the bye is what this team needed. Probably did a little reflecting, little soul searching, coming out hungry. And granted, like Andy Dalton might be able to put up some numbers. Tedoroa might have a biggie, might have a hundy piece, 2 tutty biscuit. But at the end of the day, this is where if Buffalo wants to show that, hey, we're ready to make that jump. Yeah, you got to do it in the playoffs. And we've seen them do it in the regular season. But these are the kind of games that can really light a fire under you and gear up for the second half. Buffalo needs to come out here, drop a 30 bean, nuts on the table, and handle business.
They need to.
They need to. They can't be like in a tit for tat battle with Carolina starting Andy Dalton. That can't happen. Look, I'll be honest. I think Carolina will have some fight in this game. I wouldn't bet it right now because just looking at it early in the week, I've seen on FanDuel, and again, all the lines listed are FanDuel. I keep it for simplicity purposes, but always advise shopping around. FanDuel 7.5. And that 7.5 is Carolina minus 120 getting the 7.5. But if you look at DK, it's Buffalo -7, minus 120. I would probably wait to see if we're going to get those sevens across the board. But now you have a 7 on DK. I'm fine with that. Unless there's some late action Sunday morning or some big injury news. I don't know if this is going to get inside 7 to 6.5, say.
Yeah.
I'm cool with laying Buffalo 7. I think this is a game they need. This is a game they get off the bye. Allen's really gonna dial it in. New York Jets, Cincinnati Bengals. This is the week of the backup quarterback. Tyrod Taylor's in. Justin Fields is out. Joe Flacco led Cincinnati Bengals off a huge performance. Mini bye for them. Tyrod showed some, I guess, good effort against Tampa in week 2, although that was a game that Tampa should have won and covered. That game looked a lot closer than it should have been, but whatever. Cincinnati, I wouldn't say they're back. I still think their defense is hot dog shit, but Joe Flacco looks like that combo with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is alive and well. Cincinnati 6.5. Brad, this Jets team, I think, is as bad as we think, especially without Garrett Wilson. The passing game is non-existent without him. Getting to the point where Breece Hall could be shipped out soon while the Jets get something for him. Bengals cover this, right? 6.5 at home.
Bengals have to cover this game. The Jets are in disarray. They benched Justin Fields like it was Justin Fields' fault that he is unable to be kept upright by the bad offensive line. Yes, he is holding the ball too long, but like, what do you expect when there's pressure in his face every single play? I saw this funny stat from Ian Hartitz where he said, worst quarterback this season in adjusted net yards per pass attempt, Tyrod Taylor. It's only going to get worse for the Jets. I think they got to clean house, throw it away, start over. This is funny though, because I think this is a game where we can see like a little success out of Tyrod Taylor where he's moving the ball down the field because the Bengals have their own defensive issues to worry about. But ultimately, I think the Bengals can run this up. The Jets defense isn't bad. My worry is if you get in a shootout with this Bengals team, are you really confident with no pass game, minimal run game, no ability to protect your quarterback that you can get the job done? And I'm not confident they can do that.
Yeah. I like Cincinnati here. I know their defense is bad, but I think Cincinnati laying 6.5 at home is fair. Brad, let me ask you, sidebar here.
Yep.
Because we don't have Justin Fields, this would have been a prime game for Justin Fields rushing props. Where do you set this for Tyrod? Because if the Jets, as we predict, are playing from behind, that is good opportunity for on the dropbacks to have some running lanes, step up, scramble, and pick up some rush yards. And Tyrod's still capable of running. What would you be looking for in terms of that?
I think they're going to set it at 32.5. That feels like the comfortable Tyrod number. I say like against any other team, it'd probably be 28.5. It'd probably be 32.5 against bad run defenses in with a losing script. I'd probably take it. I think he's going to get 40 plus in this game.
Okay.
It's sketchy though. I prefer it in the 20s, but I think they're going to set at 32.5.
Okay. Good to know. Side note, see when those lines really start dropping, what kind of movement we're going to get there.
Yep.
All right. Chicago at Baltimore, 6.5. Ravens at home. Yeah, look, obviously it depends on one guy. It's going to really change the complexion of how we look at this game and what the line's going to be. Ravens 6.5, and we don't know what Lamar Jackson's doing.
Dude.
Indications of the line would tell us that Lamar is probably on the right side of playing, because I don't think the Bears are 6.5 points worse at Baltimore with their backups in, right? Like, this is probably telling us Lamar's going to play. So let's say Lamar plays, devil's advocate, right? Lamar plays, no limitations, 6.5. Are you taking it with the Ravens?
No, I'm not. Like, the Ravens are exponentially better with Lamar under center, but this is Lamar Jackson, who's a mobile quarterback, who uses his legs, who hasn't practiced in the first 2 days. So he didn't practice on Monday, didn't practice on Tuesday. Is he going to be 100%? I think that this is a game where you take the Bears 6.5 right now, and then you say, well, Lamar's out. I just got a huge number. He hasn't practiced in 2 days, right? Like, is he going to be 100%? If he goes out there and he shreds you, totally fine. Whatever. But let's also not forget, the Ravens aren't just bad because they're bad quarterback play. The Ravens are bad because they're playing horrible defense so far. Ravens 30th in EPA margin and 30th in success rate on defense. This was another team, the Ravens, that, their biggest issues over the past couple of years was the passing. The run defense was stout. The run defense not stout anymore, right? They've already given up 800 rushing yards, and this is with teams that are slowing the game down because they're up so big on them. Then you mix in the injuries that they have at the back end. It's just like 6.5 feels fun if you have any feeling that Lamar might not play.
Yeah, I don't hate that theory, because let's say Lamar gets ruled in, right? Let's say Friday, Lamar's expected to play. How much movement do you think comes in on this spread? Do you think it goes from 6.5 to 7.5? Do you think it touches 8? Like, what kind of, and it could be maybe not necessarily sharp people coming in. Could it be fans? It could be people that love Lamar. It could be people that are like, oh yeah, bro, they're 1-5. The Ravens are so back. Lamar's back. Here's going to be their second half gear up run, blah, blah, blah. And it pushes the line up. How worried are you something like that could come into play?
Yeah, fine. I don't think we'll see too much movement. I think this line is baked in already with the indication that Lamar's going to at least try to give it a go. I think we may be a point total. No more than that, really.
Yeah, I think I'd lean with Chicago. I think Chicago's offense is going to be able to move the ball up and down the field on the Ravens defense, or at least has the potential to do so. Yep. I think they could keep this one inside of 7. Not official yet, but I think you're onto something. It's worth taking the 6.5 right now with the Bears. Any interest in the 50.5? Again, say Lamar plays, he's good to go. 50.5. Do you think that's an over, or do you think that we could see maybe a little bit of a slower game trying to reintroduce the ground game back in?
Yeah, I think with Lamar's in, they make a concerted effort to get Derrick Henry involved. But probably lean under.
Okay. All right. What about Cleveland, New England? That's a 7-point game as well. I'll be honest. I think this is a huge sell high spot on the Browns. I think the Browns look good. It was fun. Their defense was flying all over the place in a fucking tornado monsoon at home on Sunday. But I think it's a sell high spot because Quinshon Judkins, dog, 3 tutties. Bro, listen, I'll bring this up every week. Week 3, his first start, when he was plus 255 to score, and I said, Bradford, this might be the only time we ever get this guy at 255 again.
Yep.
Touchdown. Have to nail it. We did. Now this dude right now is going to be one of the favorites every week to score. But you have that. Cleveland won big. But let's be honest, they played a walking corpse in Miami.
Yes, they did.
Now,
In terrible weather.
And a lot of people might be like, well, the Browns, are they back? Is this team not as bad? No, this team is still pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not of the belief that New England is this reincarnation of the Patriot days from Tom Brady and Belichick. I think they're far off. I think they've benefited from a very easy schedule. They had a good win at Buffalo, but as we've kind of seen, Buffalo is not this team that's been as dominant as they've been in years past, so they're more vulnerable. New England's a good team. Fundamentally, they're pretty strong. They don't panic. Drake May's looked really good, taking a big sophomore leap. But I don't see where Cleveland's really going to hang in with them unless QJ goes nuts again. I think Dylan Gabriel's going to get his lunch taken away. I think New England's going to cover this 7. I think they're going to win by double digits.
What's tough here in this game is I'm going to talk about Patriots' offensive line has been pretty good, but Drake May has one of the highest pressure to sack rates in the NFL, which is absurd. But outside of that, he's been phenomenal. And I only say that just if the Browns can get some kind of pressure on him. But he's been phenomenal, right? Like talking about Drake May, he's one of the highest rated quarterbacks this season. He's now 3rd in the MVP race at 6-1. Everything he's been doing has been spectacular. Completing, what is he completing? I can't remember the number, 70% of his passes. I actually have it somewhere. 75% of his passes, while throwing the ball downfield with an ADOT of over 8, which is pretty fantastic. The Cleveland Browns played so bad. They're not played so bad. The Miami Dolphins played so bad in that game where they had to bench their quarterback to put in a quarterback who his first 2 passes were turnover worthy passes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's sustainable. I just don't think they can stretch the field. They have Quinshon Judkins, but I think Vrabel will be able to eliminate Judkins. And by eliminate doesn't mean then take him out of the game. Make him a non-factor in terms of he will have his 100, he will have his 80, but let's not let him run rampant for 80 plus and 3 touchdowns like he did against the Miami Dolphins. I like the Patriots. I'm just not ready. I'm not a believer there. I wasn't a believer last week in the Vrabel revenge game. I'm not there ready to be betting on them now.
I know you didn't take that with me, which is crazy. Free. It was free, by the way. It was. Yeah, I think the only way for Cleveland to hang around here is if Myles Garrett and their front 7 creates havoc. That's really the only scenario I see for them to kind of slow them down and have Judkins with a big game and control the clock. But that's a very narrow path. There's a lot more ways for New England to blow Cleveland out than for Cleveland to hang around in this game. Cleveland's got pretty much one specific path to follow. New England can do it in a variety of ways. So I like the Patriots there. I think I might lock that one as an official play. I got to be honest, though. I can see this line end up moving up to 7.5.
Okay.
I think we could see the 7 and a hook at some point. I don't think it will touch 8, but I think I would definitely see this get to 7.5. So I'd probably lock that in beforehand. But again, I think New England can win by double digits here. For the life of me, I can't figure out why the fuck Houston is favored in this game. 1.5 point favorite against San Francisco. Now, I'm not a believer in San Fran. I think San Fran is the worst 5-2 team I've ever seen. I don't think they're good. This team can easily be 1-5. This or 1-6, whatever, 2-5, whatever. This San Francisco team can easily be a 1 or 2 win team at the moment. Like, there's got to be some sort of analytics that we can dive into to suggest if a bunch of things didn't come together for them, that their game score is super low, whatever. I don't think the San Francisco team is good by any stretch. I think McCaffrey's a dog. I think Kittle being back's huge. Kendrick Bourne's done well. Ricky Pearsall at some point is going to come back. Maybe it's this week. Their defense without Fred Warner has no teeth. It's It's not that good. But this Houston team is bad. Their defense, honestly, is still good. They got toasted by JSN, but all summer how I felt about JSN. JSN is him. He's a dog. He's one of one. JSN is that guy right now. So that's no surprise. But Seattle had like 3 turnovers, including the dumbest thing I've ever seen, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, where they're up 14 points, basically in the red zone, about to go up 3 scores, when Clint Kubiak says, you know what? Sam Darnold is doing really well right now. JSN is cooking fucking garlic and oil in the pan and everything. Charbonnet is having a really good start. But you know what we're missing right now? A Cooper Kupp wide receiver pass. We're missing that. Dumb. Houston had a defensive score. Missed field goals from Seattle. Like a million mistakes that don't really reflect that they didn't play that well overall. That if they played a really good team, that's why Seattle's not undefeated right now, is because of that. They probably lose that game. But the fact is they did all of that and still covered and won. And they won by almost double digits.
Yeah.
That just goes to show how bad Houston is. Like they do have a really good defense. I think in our mindsets, like, you know what? Like JSN cooked them. They're not that good. No. They are a very, very, very good defense. But their offense is a train wreck. They can't run the ball. Their play calling is unreal. They had 3rd and 1 from their own 40. Instead of sneaking it or running a play action fake Bradford, they run up the gut with Woody Marks, which I've been begging for more Woody Marks attempts. But that's not the spot to use Woody Marks. Run it up the gut with Woody Marks. Hey, you know what? We get stuffed. We're going to go for it. It's 4th and 1. This is a big moment in the game. We're going to go for it. They run the same play again and get stuffed. So their play calling is a disaster. Now Nico Collins left with a concussion. It's not good. It's not good. CJ Stroud has been disgustingly bad. Why are they favored? Coming on a short week. What am I missing?
Dude, I don't know. Dude, like 28 pressures that they allowed to the Seahawks, three sacks of CJ Stroud. It honestly, bro, it could have been 8 sacks. CJ Stroud made sure that it wasn't 8 sacks. It's just offensively, it's just gross. It is a travesty. They actually have no wide receivers outside of Nico Collins, and even Nico Collins had a few drops in that game that was uncharacteristic. One thing weird about the 49ers is they just go out there and play football, right? Like the 49ers could have thrown in the towel week 1 with all those injuries piled up, but they've just got the job done. And I've been really impressed. So I talked about the right side of their offensive line a little bit, how it's like the glaring weakness. But as the seasons progressed, the right side of the offensive line has done much better, right? They've done much better. I'm trying to see how the grades have changed, right? I think these freaking grades. All right, here we go. Yeah. McKivitz was like a 60, I want to say he was like a 68 or 69 grade. Now all the way up to 77.8, right? And I just think that, you know, they had a little injury issues on that offensive line. They started to get back healthy. If you can win in the trenches, and it doesn't matter who you're playing, doesn't matter who you have under center, you're going to win more games than you're going to lose. Now you have Christian McCaffrey, who's 100% healthy, and he's carrying that team. They're just really good. And on the other side of the ball, I don't think we need to talk about it too much. They're not getting pressure on quarterbacks, which is weird, but they're making tackles. So players aren't getting to the second level, keeping plays in front of them, which is helping out a lot. They're an anomaly, bro. There's no advanced metric that's going to tell you why the 49ers are winning games, but they're just doing it.
Yeah. It makes absolutely no sense. But I just think it's not because like these games aren't because San Francisco's that good. I just think who they're playing is not necessarily not always that bad, but it's like bad. Houston being favored here is either the biggest trap in the world or the biggest. What does Vegas know that I don't know?
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't go with San Francisco. I don't. There's nothing, especially if Nico Collins is out. Short week. I don't know. I don't know what else. What I would possibly be looking to bet with the Texans. I like D'Amico Ryans.
Maybe their team total under. Like, you can't, like, even if they win this game, they're gonna have to win a low scoring game, right? Total set at 41.5 is the full game total. Team total set at 20.5. Like 3 touchdowns. You're getting plus money.
Maybe
Interesting.
Disaster. Well, I see that disaster, and I'll raise you a bigger one. Miami at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta 7.5 point favorite at home. Dolphins plus 7.5 is minus 122. I mean, do we think Atlanta is going to cover this number off a bad loss?
This is the home run spot for the Atlanta Falcons for our team morale. They're playing against an anemic Miami Dolphins team who can't stop the run if you gave them $10 million. And then to make it better, what do the Falcons do best? They get pressure on the quarterback. The Miami Dolphins have struggled to protect Tua, have struggled to get wide receivers open, have struggled to design an offense that allows the run game to open up the pass game. This is the game the Atlanta Falcons wants. For me, I hope the Dolphins figure something out and they can beat them because we're Bucs fans, right? But not happening, bro. I think that this is the Bijan masterclass, 100+ yards. Like, we just talk about this game, maybe like, oh, the Dolphins were overmatched. No, I just think it's a matchup disadvantage for the Dolphins. There's no level of the field where they can win this. Can't win on the D line, can't win on the O line, can't win in the secondary, can't win in the wide receiver room, can't win in the running back room, can't win at the quarterback, can't win it at the second level. Where does the Dolphins win? Special teams? The Dolphins are gonna have to special teams them to death. Yeah.
There's a 7 on DK. This would be a rebound spot for Atlanta. Again,
Yeah.
like the last 2 or 3 years, I've heard people on ESPN and across betting that Atlanta's the dark horse team of the year. They're the sleeper out of the NFC. They're this, they're that. I'm like, dude, you guys have not watched as much Atlanta football as I have over the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
They always do this. They have the flashy attractions. They have the skill players. They have the guys that are fun for fantasy to watch and betting, whatever. But structurally, they're not a good football team. They've addressed the pass rushing issues, it seems, which, by the way, is something that has been missing for a very long time. I actually got to go run and get my charger real quick, so I'm gonna let you take over. But I think this has got to be an Atlanta spot. This is a bounce back right here for them. But Brad, I'll let you expand a little bit more on this game.
Yeah, man. There's no possible way that I would get involved with the Miami Dolphins. So you guys know I love my metrics, right? So let's just talk about these defensive metrics for Miami Dolphins. Dead last in defensive EPA per play. They were dead last in success rate. I don't know how the Bengals end up jumping them. They have 3 teams that jump. They're 29th in defensive success rate. EPA against the run, we talked about it. Dead last is the team that you run against. Then we go to the pass. They're a little bit better about middle of the pack. Completion percentage to quarterbacks is about, I think that's dead last as well. We can just go down the list. Now we want to talk about offensively. Offensively for the Miami Dolphins. EPA per play. 25th, 24th? Call it 24th. 24th. EPA per pass. And now this, mind you, this is Mike McDaniel being mad scientist, supposed to be this great play caller. 24th. EPA per rush. they have jumped higher in EPA per rush because they have had 3 weeks where Achan's been a lot better, but they're still what I can't remember their number. I think they're like 15th. They're like 50. Oh my God. Oh, I memorized their number. They're 15th in EPA per rush on offense. This is a team that there's nowhere I'm happy for. I think the Falcons cover. I think this is an embarrassing game for the. If the Dolphins cover, it's going to be a high scoring game, but it's not happening. They're going to get too much pressure on Tua.
It's actually interesting. So there's like here or there player props out there, like random player props on different books. So Bijan's number right now, I don't know if there was an open 88.5 rush yards, flat rush yards on FanDuel and DK. I mean, I think that's probably a good one. That's probably a hit, right? Maybe this is one of those games where we take like Bijan 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Bijan's probably going to be like minus 250 to score here. Do you know? Oh, actually, do you know FanDuel's the only book right now that's got it. Do you know what Bijan is to score 3 touchdowns this week? Take a guess.
Probably plus 800, something stupid.
12-1.
Yeah, I knew it was be something stupid.
I mean, it's almost not even worth it to do that, but he could definitely, because the problem is you have Tyler Algier that can get in for 1. You have Algier that can sneak himself in there. But I think Bijan's fun for 3. Like if you're looking for something stupid, I think it's fun for 3-1. But I think Bijan's like, here's what I would do, honestly. I would probably take Bijan at 88.5 now. This is probably the market open. Maybe like it came up a few yards, depending on whatever the legitimate open time was.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to see this jump at least 10 yards by the time Sunday kickoff. Like Bijan's number is probably going to be pushing triple digits before 1 o'clock Sunday. And at bare minimum, you get an opportunity to maybe take an under and middle, something along those lines. So I'll probably look at Bijan over yards for this one.
I will probably be on Bijan yards. Like
I might lock that in. I think I'm going to lock that in soon. I mean, there could be a difference of like maybe one book has 87.5.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I think Atlanta's going to get this one, especially if you're getting 7, like maybe parlay.
Especially after a poor performance from Bijan by his standards, you know?
Yeah, I think this is probably a good spot here. All right, Giants, Eagles. Eagles laying 7 against the Giants, coming off one of the biggest disaster losses anybody ever had in the NFL. Philly finally got back right. Brad, we're on Philly last week as like a last-ditch effort. There's no way the Eagles have that happen to them again, what the Giants did, right? I think that's short week, home dog, prime time. I think Philly, and that's why this is 7 points. Like, granted, we're going to give 2 to 3 points for home field advantage. I think, honestly, that's where it comes into play. But, I mean, I think a lot of people know that that was a more of a fluke. Philadelphia lays the wood down on this one, huh?
Dude, I want to say that, but they didn't even lay the wood down against the Minnesota Vikings. Like the Vikings, there was a play, Leighton was a fourth quarter where Jalen Hurts made a play, scrambled out, completed the ball like 30 yards down the field. And that changed the trajectory of the game because if they give the ball back, it feels like Philly's going to score. I mean, the Vikings are going to go down and score. The Giants have just been relentless. That was a heartbreak. That was a heartbreak in that game against the Broncos. Let me think about this. I think I faded the Giants like 4 weeks in a row, and I've been wrong 4 weeks in a row.
Well, you know what? You did not listen to me last week. I told you Giants 7 throughout the week was way too many at Denver. And then it was 7.5 on our Sunday morning kickoff show. I said 7.5 is too big of a number. I didn't think the Giants were going to win outright. But I thought they were going to be at a point where, like, hey, you know, that they had a chance to win. They're going to stay inside the number.
Yeah.
You doubted them. I'll be honest. That loss, that is the type of loss where you can come out and come back the next week just pissed off, playing with your hair on fire, motivated for a bounce back and to like get that and wash those sins away. Or that could be the type of loss where that kind of rocks you to your core and like messes with your psyche. And it takes you a while. I don't think the Giants are a soft team, like especially like they don't have a puss at quarterback.
Yeah.
Like they have a dog at quarterback and
Dog.
They have a dog at running back in Cam Scatterville. That's permeated throughout the locker room. So I don't think this team is soft. I don't think this is a team with a fractured psyche. Like the Giants in the past, the Giants with Russell Wilson, they come out, they get blown out in this game. Russell Wilson's soft loser. Not with Dart. However, Philadelphia at Minnesota is a little bit of a different game. This is a revenge spot. This is personal. This is a divisional game. The Eagles got their jocks handed to them a few weeks ago on the road at the Giants.
Yeah.
Like in a normal setting, I like the Giants here with 7. I think Philly comes out ultra motivated. Devontae Smith had a big one. Arthur Shelby Brown, 2 tutties. The vibes are high with the Eagles offense right now. I think those guys had big games in a win. That's the kind of thing that sparks Philly. Because the biggest problem we talked about on Sunday, which is why like this was our last shot to take Philly for a while, was the toxicity going on in their locker room, which a lot of it stems from the lack of involvement consistently with AJ and Devontae. That kind of squeaky wheel got the grease situation, along with the win, helped out. I think that can propel them. Long story short, I'm taking Philadelphia -7 initially here on this Tuesday. Maybe my opinion changes on Sunday morning, but I think I'm liking Philly right now. All right, Tampa Bay bounce back 4.5 at New Orleans. Brad, this is Tampa all the way.
Yeah,
all the
this
way.
is Tampa.
This is Tampa.
The
Baker played like shit. He was getting harassed all night. The line, the injuries to the O-line really like. I mean, they had showed a little bit here. They had showed here and there throughout the season, but it's never been as glaring as it was last night. Last night, Monday night. The Lions harassed them. Baker was under constant pressure. And I think a lot of that resulted in him sailing these passes. Like that internal clock was going, and he felt like he was getting pressure that wasn't there. Granted, like he sailed a couple high passes. Like he sailed several passes. One of them was to Tez Johnson in the end zone. He didn't play well. The whole team didn't play well. Their defense kept them in the game, though. I think the Bucs come back ready to go.
The Bucs defense had a couple bad plays, but overall was pretty good.
Yeah, especially defending several short field.
Those two rookies played pretty solid. Vita Vea was in there filling the gaps. I think the Bucs win this game. I think they win it handily.
Yeah.
Ibuka, you could obviously see he was a step slower, but I think he'll be totally fine. Tez Johnson, thank God he's finally getting the run he deserves because he was a beast at Oregon. Who cares that he's undersized? Put the ball in his hands, get him the ball. 2 things you need to do.
Bucky Irving should be back this week.
Yes, Godwin should be back too.
I think Tampa's going to steamroll New Orleans. I think Tampa, the way Detroit came out after that loss against Kansas City, this is how I think Tampa's going to come out after the loss against Detroit. I think they're going to make amends. And that's what good teams do. Like this is a game where I'm looking at taking something like Baker, 3 touchdowns, 250 passing. Like, this is a big prop game, in my opinion. I think Tampa is going to go pedal to the metal and exercise some demons here. I like the Bucks.
Yeah.
Big bounce back game. Big bounce back game. Tennessee at Indy, 14.5 points. Dude, in an NFL game, I talked about this with the Bengals against the Packers, where I said I thought the Bengals getting 14.5 with Joe Flacco starting was just too many. In an NFL game, I do believe that. But in this instance, I don't know. This Tennessee team is not good. Cam Ward and the offense, they look good for like the first half of football against New England. They looked really solid. By the way, there's a 14 on DK. Is this too many points for Tennessee? Too many points.
My God. Freaking Titans stink, man.
They do stink.
Titans stink. This is an efficient team that tackles well in the Indianapolis Colts. But literally 14 points in an NFL game feels wrong.
It's a lot.
But I think they cover. I think they win this game. I think they have a chance to put up, like, I don't want to call their score, but I think that JT has 3 touchdowns and Tyler Warren has 1. That's already 4. That's already 28 points. Oh my God, they can score 35 in this.
When it becomes available, do we parlay Jonathan Taylor 3 tutties again with Bijan 3 tutties?
Let's ladder it. Let's do touchdown. That'll probably be even money. And let's do 2 touchdowns, then 3 touchdowns.
Like 3 separate parlays?
Yeah, like
JT?
We do like a unit or a half unit on the base. Then we do a half unit or a quarter unit on the second. Then we do like a 1/10 of a unit or something.
I said we do 2 units on the base.
Okay.
We do 1 unit on the 2, and then we do half unit on the 3.
That's cool, me.
I don't think there's no Jonathan Taylor touchdown prop. Jonathan Taylor's probably going to be like minus 500 to score this week. We're probably going to get one of those college football anytime tutty props this week, by the way.
Yeah.
It's most likely what we're going to get. I don't even know, man. I mean, basic principle, divisional game, like Indianapolis has just been playing so well, though. 14.5 points in an NFL game is a lot.
Yeah. It's such a lot, man.
Watch
it be a freaking dud.
What?
Let's watch that game be a freaking dud.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. I don't have anything on this. I'd probably say I'd lean Indianapolis laying 14. That's crazy. I mean, but these are the kind of games you avoid on the spread and you go team total. Like, what is Indianapolis's team total? Let's see. They're 30.5. Like, this is one maybe where you go like Indy. I mean, Indy's 30.5. Maybe you go Indy like over 29.5 and juice it up at 142.
Yeah.
It's
like what? Look, the game is indoors. Like, there's a chance to be dirty.
Yeah. All right, a few games left here. We got Dallas at Denver, 3.5 points. Starting to lean towards 3. Brad, I'll let you take this one first.
Yeah. Shout out to the Denver Broncos. They've been the best scoring fourth quarter team in the NFL. But it's weird because it's like they're afraid to open up their offense until they're down by multiple scores. But I think Denver win and cover this game. The Dallas Cowboys with Dak, Dak has done so much. If their team was better, he'd be the MVP favorite. But they're just not good defensively. Maybe this is exactly what the Broncos need, right? This is a Dallas team that really sucks at getting pressure on the quarterback, which allows these quarterbacks to just set back there and throw the ball. Well, they're playing against a Broncos team who hasn't had success through the air like they want, but they're the best pass blocking team in the NFL. So I think I hope that this is a Bo Nix spot for Bo Nix to be better. But that said, I think Dallas cover the 3.5. Don't win, but I think getting the 3 in the hook is really nice.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, Dallas is one of these teams that is probably a little better than what I thought they'd be this year. I kind of had them as this team that was probably not going to be good in terms of playoffs, but they're going to be able to do a lot on offense because of Dak and CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. Like Dak to lead the league in pass yards and pass touchdowns, I think were two of my bets this summer, if I'm not mistaken. Javonte Williams, he's looked great. I'm happy for him. I love Javonte coming into the league, and I always thought that knee injury was devastating towards him, and it looks like he's finally starting to reach that potential that a lot of people knew was there. So that's really helped them. Ferguson's been good. The defense obviously is a problem. But here's my thing, right? Like I had Denver as a potential AFC West winner, which, by the way, that's not dead by any means. That's right there. That's there for the Broncos to win the AFC West. But they have not looked really good at any point this year. They've had to play they against teams that are inferior to them. They've had to like dick around for 3+ quarters and then rely on something big to win it in the fourth.
Yeah.
Like they have not looked like a team that's just laying the hammer down. They had a nice win in Philly on the road. That was a tough win. That's a big win for sure. But even still, like they were hanging around in that game. Like they had a lot of opportunities to put the hammer down and win by a decisive margin. I just haven't seen that kill switch go on for the Broncos. The talent is there, but the defense has not played to the level that a lot of people, including myself, thought they would be. Like, and this is the problem with defenses year over year. There's so much change. We think a defense is going to come in after being great last year and it's just going to translate, even though they kept the same players. For some reason, that doesn't happen. Like Denver's defense has not been that good this year.
No.
I mean, if you go to like EPA per play, maybe it's good. But in terms of Denver being a legitimate, dominant top 3 defense that was expected of them through 7 weeks, they have not been that. Have they?
No.
So my issue is Denver was always a defense first team. But Bo Nix was improving. He was progressing. He was going to take that big leap. You get Dobby, RJ Harvey, who's kind of being factored out right now. Courtland Sutton could have had a big year. Evan Ingram, I thought, was going to be a big addition. Injuries, not grasping the offense, whatever. They don't have any consistent playmakers on offense in the pass game outside of Sutton. Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims are not every down guys to move the chains. They are shot play guys. They're maybe, on a broken play, Bo Nix throws it 50 yards and they go get it. So my problem is, and I apologize for the long-winded answer, Denver's too inconsistent right now for me to trust them. Dallas, at least you know what you're getting. You know Prescott is going to be able to find Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson, Javonte Williams can get going. You know that's going to happen. And because of that, against a disappointing Denver defense, I think the Cowboys have a shot to hang in this game. So give me the 3 and a hook. This is on its way to 3. I still think I might take the 3 with Dallas, but I would get locked this in before we lose the hook here.
Yeah, agreed.
I apologize for running long.
No, that's
two more. Sunday night, Monday night. Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers, revenge game. Brad, where are you going?
Oh, my God. The Pittsburgh Steelers, man. They need to change their name to the Pittsburgh Tight Ends. We told you the Pittsburgh Steelers love their 12 personnel, man. They love their 12 personnel. Who won that game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Bengals? The Bengals?
Bengals.
Yeah. I fell asleep. I fell asleep during that game, and I was like, I had to wake up early. I woke up. I thought the Steelers were winning the game. And I was like, woke up. Someone had texted me, go, man, I hate the Steelers. And I was like, yeah, they just get so lucky in winning, end up losing that game. We talked about this, and I saw someone post how the Bengals are like one of the worst teams defending 12 personnel. But then the Pittsburgh Steelers run 12 personnel, but they're like fourth worst in EPA margin out of 12 personnel. So it's like they run it at the highest rate. Like the thing's like the third or fourth highest rate, but they also suck when they run it. It's not sustainable by any measure. And that was like the first game that they were actually getting pushed with the running back. Like that's when you mix it up, right? You're getting pushed. You're getting to that second level with Warren. Mix it up offensively. It doesn't need to be 12 personnel. We're running out of here. 12 personnel. We're passing. They have a problem. It's Arthur Smith problem where he thinks that all of his tight ends need to be utilized on every play. Packers win, Packers cover. I actually am looking at a 3, which is a big difference in a 3.5 FYI.
There's a 3.5 on FanDuel. There's a 3 on DK.
Yeah. Yep.
This is going to be teetering between 3 and 3.5. Though.
I agree.
Okay, so if this wasn't a revenge spot, I think it's Green Bay all the way. And I know a lot of us, the people that are sharper in terms of betting and handicapping are like, well, you're an asshole because you're looking at a revenge game as one of your motives. I'm not. I think, though, that could be a factor in prop plays for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Some pass tutties is in order. And I liked Green Bay coming into this year. The reason I didn't pick them in the NFC North pre or post Micah Parsons was I thought their schedule was incredibly difficult. They have not looked good. The last time they really looked good was against Washington. And we know Washington's having a rough year. So really, Detroit. The Detroit week 1 game without Ben Johnson, first time. That was the last time they've really looked dominant. They've been playing down to their competition. They very well could have lost in Arizona on Sunday.
Very well.
Arizona was one play away from winning that game. They were pretty much in control of that. I think the Packers probably win and cover this game by a slight margin. Their defense is another one. Their defense was supposed to be really good, and it hasn't been. You probably have the EPA per play and efficiency metrics up. Where's their defense ranking right now?
17th.
It's not been that good. Jordan Love, I think overall has been good. Jordan Love's probably in the middle of in the top 8 in the MVP market right now, which is good. It's fine. He's got the opportunity to move up. Josh Jacobs has been really good. Tucker Kraft's been coming on, but the receiving game for them has not been there. Dobbs will make a big catch here there. Golden will make a big play. They don't have the guy. They're missing Jaden Reed this whole season. Christian Watson, are they going to go get somebody? It's not really structurally that sound for Green Bay. They rely so heavily on Love and Jacobs, and their defense hasn't really been supplementing it. The only reason that they're 4-1-1, which, by the way, they blew it to the Browns. That was a game they should have won. They blew it to the Cowboys. They ended up tying that game when they clearly should have blown them out. They couldn't put away the Bengals with Joe Flacco on a short week in his first start. And they barely squeaked by Arizona starting Jacoby Brissett. So my issue is going on the road, covering 3.5. I don't love it. I think they probably end up doing it. And in all fairness, there's a 3 out there. I would take the 3 and pay the VIG on it.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Green Bay probably wins because I think they're the better team. But I think Aaron Rodgers probably has a few touchdowns here as a revenge spot. I don't think Pittsburgh's that good. I didn't think they were good all year. I thought they had a couple layups, and that's why they have a good record to this point. Washington at Kansas City, 10.5 KC. Looks like Mariota is going to be going again. Not sure about Terry McLaurin's status. I mean, primetime dog be damned, dude. I think this is a Kansas City spot. Looks like they're back. They're feeling it.
Like they are back, dude.
Looks like they're back.
They have been one
They're
of the
back,
most
motherfucker.
impressive teams on both sides of the ball in every advanced analytic metric. Now they add in Rashee Rice. The Commanders should be without Jaden Daniels. Man, this is like scary because this could be another primetime game for Patrick Mahomes to cement his MVP.
All right, we'll relax because Baker Mayfield is still MVP due.
I mean, I don't have any money on Patrick Mahomes. All my money's on Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, buddy. Relax. Baker Mayfield. Take it easy. But this could be the square play of the week. I don't give a shit. I think what we saw against the Raiders is that's Kansas City. Rashee Rice made such a big difference. Like, look, we know the Raiders are not good, but just how in command KC looked. Like, we really hadn't seen KC look that in command. There was their offense looked really good against the Lions defense, but the Lions secondary was just toast. And in all fairness, like the Chiefs got a lot of favorable calls that turned the game and the game script. I think this was the first time both sides of the ball, the Chiefs looked in absolute, complete, dominant command of the 2025 season. And I think now with Rashee Rice back, that just translates everything else. I think that's what we could be getting from Kansas City moving forward. I like them at home Monday night. Arrowhead should be rocking. This is the spot for me, especially if Mariota starts, which given 10.5 on the spread tells me it's probably going to be Mariota. Lock it in, man. This place is going to be rocking.
Man. Yeah, God. Pissing me off because I want Baker to win, but
dude,
his numbers are phenomenal.
Baker's going to win. Baker Mayfield's going to win.
Baker's going to throw for 304 touchdowns this week.
He needs one of those games.
Yeah.
The problem is the sample size is so small, and like Baker Mayfield was 3.5 to 1, something like that heading into the week, and Mahomes is still ahead of him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like one bad game, and he goes down to 10 to 1, which makes no sense. That's an overreaction. Like if you didn't buy in on Baker Mayfield yet, I would buy into him now.
Yeah.
Because look, if Tampa, who has a legitimate chance, it sucks because Tampa lost the two big tiebreakers in the NFC. Philly and Detroit own the tiebreakers. But if Tampa still ends up getting a top 2 seed, which is completely possible,
yep,
they're going to be in good shape for Baker to get it. Like Tampa, they go to New Orleans this week, come home to play New England, go to Buffalo, go to LA, and then after that, it could be carte blanche for them.
Yeah.
Home against Arizona, home against New Orleans, home against Atlanta, at Carolina, at Miami, which, by the way, I told you I want to go to that game. I'd like to go to that game for us.
Yeah.
And then home to Carolina to finish. Like that is carte blanche the last 6 weeks. So if somehow between the Patriots and Rams, that 3-week stretch, they could find a way to win 2 of those, preferably, if they could beat the Bills and the Rams, that's huge. And then it's telling you, man, if you missed the boat on the Baker Mayfield MVP ticket, you're not necessarily getting it back right now, but you're getting a little bit of buyback forgiveness.
Yeah.
Like you're getting 10 to 1. This is the time to buy. I don't think Josh Allen's done by any stretch of the imagination, but like his candidacy is severely hindered. Drake May, I don't think Drake May's winning. I don't think Drake May's winning.
I don't think he's winning.
Mahomes obviously is a huge player right now. Stafford is interesting, but I don't think Stafford's going to win in all likelihood. Jared Goff's interesting, but I think Jared Goff's had so many big years in the past and he didn't win. Dak Prescott's not going to win because the Cowboys won't be good enough.
Won't win enough games, yeah.
Like Daniel Jones not going to win.
Not a chance.
Lamar's not going to win. Darnold's probably not going to win. Hurts isn't going to win. Herbert's probably done. Jonathan Taylor's interesting, but I mean, if Barkley didn't win last year, no. The only other guy I think is interesting is Jordan Love at 25-1. If somehow Green Bay goes on a run.
Yeah.
But that's the only appeal that I think. So in my opinion, the only true ticket to take right now is Baker at 9-1 or 10-1. I don't know if I see Jared Goff winning. But also, like everybody knows, Jared Goff is a product of his environment.
Yep.
Like
and Jared Goff will have that 4 interception game.
Yeah. Like Baker, Baker didn't play well by any stretch, but let's be real, man. He's fine. He's fine. He's going to be good. I mean, he's 13 TDs, 2 picks, 1767 in yards. Let's see what he's on pace for through. See what his 17-game pace is this year. How do you see that on PFR? How do you look for that? Do you want to do that?
Mm-mm.
They usually put that on ESPN. Tampa's got what? 2 losses? Philly and Detroit?
Yeah. Freaking 2 games we could have won if we started better.
I know. Okay, let's see. Baker Mayfield right now is on pace for 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, 5 picks. I mean, those aren't necessarily MVP numbers, but I think if we could pump that up to like 4,500 yards and like 37 touchdowns, and Tampa is a top 2 seed.
Yeah.
Tampa wins 12-plus games. They're currently 5-2. They have realistically won. I mean, all their games are winnable right now. They have 7 games. They have, 10 games left. If they win 7 of their next 10, 12 wins might be a top 2 seed in the NFC this year, especially if, Philly isn't that great. But let's say they win 8 out of 10, which is doable in their schedule. It's possible, is my point. That's my point. Yeah. It's possible. But anyway, really appreciate everybody for tuning in here, spending my last night on this earth.
My God. Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday.
33 minutes until the birthday kicks into effect. Nothing more I'd rather be doing than doing this, concluding my 31st year around the sun. Really do appreciate everybody for your support and tuning in. It's been a blast. Brad, I thank you for your schedule adjustment. Let's lock in some winners this week, guys.
Yeah, bro. Let's cash, man. See everyone on freaking Sunday, bro.
See you Sunday morning for the kickoff show. I will be a new man, 1 year older. Thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you on Sunday.